Hello, good morning. I'm really grateful to Heavenly Parent and True Parents for giving me this opportunity to share my story today. And before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yoon Hee Kim. Well, you can call me Yuni. It's more better to pronunciation, I think. And I was born 2002, so now I'm 23 years old and I'm only child. So I'm from South Korea and half Korean and half Japanese. So my mother is Japanese, and my parents received the first 40 million couple blessing in 2000. My father works and my mother is a full-time home worker. And I've loved drawing since when I was young, and I also when I need to relax, I like to take a walk and listen to my favorite music. And I also love the people, so I enjoy going to cafes and listen to their stories. After high school, I entered the UPA, East Someone University's theology department. I graduated safely, and now I'm serving as a missionary in Sweden until 2027. Thank you. So I'm really happy and grateful to be here, meeting all of you, and work in Sweden. Some of you might be wondering how I ended up in Sweden. So today I'd like to share a little about my faith that drove me here. Yeah. My family's faith started my grandmother. After she joined the church, my mother was very moved by the DP that my grandmother read. My mother joined in 1985, and our family's faith has continued since then. So, our family has three generations of women in faith, just like True Mother. But I didn't go to church much as a child. My father is not very religious. He didn't mind church, but he really liked fishing on the weekend more than going to church. And our church is about 2 hours by car, so it wasn't easy for my mother to take me there. Sometimes I went to church with my parents, but it's only once a month or less. So I didn't really know much about church. Because of this, many people asked me, then how did you come to have faith like this? The root of my faith come from my mother. Since I was really young, she always told me God is your parent. For that, when I thought about heavenly parents, always felt warm to me. One day, a second-gen friend invited me to the youth workshop in Cheongpyeong. That was my first time to experience second-generation culture, like saying family prayers together and singing and dancing to church song. Everything was really new and fun. Especially the DP were really interesting to me. It made me want to come back to the workshop again. Later, when I was in middle school, I saw my mother reading the 1 hour DP chart, that one. So at that time in Korea, there was a providence that said if you read 100 times, you could receive the grace. When I watching her read, I said, "Mom, I wanted to read with you like this." Amazingly, that day was her 100th time reading it. From that day, I began reading the DP with my mother every day. As I continued, my interest in the DP and the church grew deeper. I joined it at every workshop I could, learning more about the DP and True Parents. Through that, I was deeply moved by True Parents' word and value and life. That's when I came to truly love them from the bottom of my heart. At first, I wasn't really interested in studying theology. There was a special reason why I suddenly decided to go to the theology department. During the workshop, while introducing myself and talking about my future, I suddenly said I wanted to go to theology department like this. I thought I just said it because someone else was planning to go to there. But over time, I felt strongly that I need to follow these thoughts. At that time, I was preparing for another studies, so it confused me. I prayed for guidance, and I remembered a prayer I had said to Heavenly Parents as a middle school student. That was the hardest time in my life. Many difficult things happened at once, and I was too young to solve problems or share my heavy feelings. Through that, I thought I'd never be able to give or receive love. I thought that thought made me despair. I was afraid of making Heavenly Parents sad. I knew that Heavenly Parent is loving parent who has gone through many pains. I also prayed that I could love properly, and I worried that that is become a big problem for Heavenly Parent. All I could do was pray. I prayed, Heavenly Parent, if I'm a barrier to your providence, or if I might bring you more sorrow, please take my life instead. Then my mother remind me again, God is our parent. I'm not sure if my mother knows my prayer or not, but through that I realized that Heavenly Parent is most loving parent who cares for their children more than anyone else. Through that prayer, I totally met Heavenly Parent in my heart. I felt that I had already given my life to Heavenly Parent. So, if this is what Heavenly Parents wants, I decide to go to the UPA. Of course, I knew reality wasn't that easy. Even after I entered the UPA, I faced many challenges. All of us UPA students went out for ministry training, and I had to guide the second generation, even though I didn't really know much about church culture in my first year of UPA. And and more than anything, at the time, UPA student could not receive the blessing for 7 years, and we also could not earn our own money. For for me, having a stable job and to support my family is very important for me. So sometimes I felt worried about my uncertain future, but even so, I was I was able to keep walking this path because Heavenly Parent clearly showed me why I need to go to this way and gave me hope that this was possible. I was grateful to serve as a ministry training leader during that time. I gained valuable experience, and working together with team, we were able to achieve good results. And seeing how we worked hard together, some second generation were inspired to make their own decision to join the UPA. I also went to the many country for my mission, also Czech Republic. Even though my English is not perfect yet, I tried that. And last year I met some Christian pastors, and around that time, I also worked on creating many missionary contents. Especially having guided my family. Thanks to my mother's effort, my father came into Changpyeong. He walked around the Changpyeong and spent the time quiet praying at Cheonsimon. Even though he really doesn't like crowded events or long drive, but he stayed until the end of Cheonan Palace ceremony. Through this process, I felt that heaven was guiding us directly, and I was grateful that this path allowed me to grow, not only just sacrifice. And I will never forget the time that I met True Mother in person. Maybe you can see Yona and William also. and we are UPA students were thankfully given the opportunity to attend events, especially during the Christmas or other holiday. One special moment was used the departure ceremony with Sinchul and Shinheng. The UPA, including me, had the chance to perform right behind True Mother. From behind her, I could feel how deeply she loves her children. In the moment, I heard her voice in my heart. I love these children. I love all the children around the world. In that moment, I truly felt True Mother's heart, a heart that loves every children in the world. And now, in here Sweden, I can feel also some same love is also here with us. Even though Korea is far away, and no matter what the situation is, I always deeply moved by how all of you continue to offer your devotion for Heavenly Parent. Sometimes I wonder if I can really do this mission, but whenever I see all of you, I feel only hope and true love. I truly grateful to have been born as my parents' child, to know our church, and to meet all of you in Sweden. Thank you so much for giving me this chance. I will do my best inherit your devotion and give my whole heart here in Sweden. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Next. Good morning, everyone. Can you see? This is holy ground in Sweden. That first time we go. And yeah, first of all, I'd like to sincerely thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my testimony with you today. And I'd like to share three main things. First, who I am. Second, why I chose the path of public mission. And third, what kind of heart I've come to have while serving as a missionary in Sweden. Yes, this is about myself. My name is Megumi Funakoshi, and I was born on May 9th, 2001 in Osaka, Japan, and I'm 24 years old this year. I love nature, especially the ocean, and I also enjoy watching movies, YouTube, and reading, which often give me new inspiration. And I have a sweet tooth and really love Japanese and Korean candy. And here in Sweden, there's a particular type that I especially enjoy that. This taste, fruit taste, yes. Yeah. And as for my personality, I'm not entirely sure myself, but I think I'm someone who enjoys freedom and a relaxed lifestyle, while also approaching any task I'm given with great dedication. I lived in Japan for 18 years before moving to Korea for university. I entered Sunmun University, majoring in theology, and it's called UPA, to receive education and training to become a Cheonil leader. After 4 years of study and growth, I am now in here, Sweden, for 2 years as part of UPA's missionary program. And yeah, this is my family. My parents are part of the 360,000 blessed couples, Japanese couples, and they raised 5 children with love and faith. Yeah, my father currently works with UPF in Osaka and has devoted many years to educating second generation youth. He is someone who always listens and guides our family toward the heavenly way. And my mother, while working in society, has also been very active in church life. She once served as a missionary in Bolivia, in South America, for more than 3 years. And growing up hearing her stories, I dreamed one day I want to become a missionary like my mom. So that's why I feel so grateful and happy to be serving now as a missionary in Sweden. And I'm the oldest child, and my first younger sister, 22, is also in UPA and is now on mission in Colorado, USA. And actually, that sister just gained a spiritual child yesterday. Oh. Yeah, I can't fall behind either yet. Yeah, and my younger brother, 20, is studying in Japan and has such a gentle heart. And my third sister, 14, is studying hard for her high school entrance exams. And my youngest sister, 12, plays basketball, and she's already taller than me. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, I grew up in a warm, funny, and loving family where I could freely express myself. And in April this year, I received the holy blessing for which I'm deeply grateful. Yes, thank you. And he is 1 year older than me and comes from Japanese-Korean family. He grew up in Japan, but spent half of his life in Korea. So since he speaks both Japanese and Korean, it's really comfortable to communicate with him. And he's currently participating in the GFL 1-year program. After 3 months witnessing condition in Poland and 40 days fundraising in the US, he's now in Korea for witnessing and fundraising. Even though we're physically apart and there's a time difference and so busy each other, but we keep encouraging each other to fulfill our mission and vision. Yes. And now that I've introduced myself, I'd like to share why I chose the path of public mission. I currently belong to UPA, the Universal Peace Academy, an educational institution founded by True Mother, two parents, to raise the leaders of Cheonilguk. After completing our studies and missions, we receive our official mission assignments directly from True Mother, hopefully, like this. And I was born as a second generation member and grew up attending workshops, DP studies, and Sunday service, and so on, and just living a very ordinary life of faith as a second gen. But I never had any interest in becoming a public figure or attending Somen University. My dream was to study international relations at a university in Japan and work for the UN or an NGO. I just wanted to be someone who does something great and is recognized by the world. However, during my last semester of high school, something began to change. I started to feel that God was calling me to go to Somen University. What happened? One day, while I was cleaning my room to start studying, I opened a box where I used to keep my most precious belongings. Maybe I didn't want to study that time. So that's why I opened that. And inside, I found something that absolutely shouldn't have been there. A Somen University brochure. Yeah. And out of curiosity, I opened it, and to my surprise, I discovered that it had the Department of International Relations, the very major I had always dreamed of studying. I realized that it was a place where I could learn international relations, theology, and Korean language all together. And that environment suddenly felt so attractive to me. From that moment on, through my dreams, events, and conversation with people, my heart began to change little by little. I started to feel that God had already planned for me to go to Somen University since I was a child. But still, I wasn't completely sure. In Japan, there's a monthly magazine for a second generation middle and high school students. One day, I found the latest issue on the table and casually opened it, as I always did. Among the various articles, there was a testimony written by a second generation student who had gone to study in Korea. The testimony included her mother's words, which she had spoken to Korean high school seniors at that time, and I was also senior then. Sunmin University is the National University of Cheonilguk. I will guide you and educate you personally, with love and care. Everyone, please go to Sunmin University. When I saw those words, even though they weren't spoken directly to me, it felt as though true mother was speaking to me personally. After finishing the testimony, I looked at the title of the article, and it said, "Go to Sunmin University." It was big. And at that moment, I felt a strong energy within me, as if heaven was telling me, "You have to go." That became the turning point in my decision. However, after changing my path, I began to face mental and emotional difficulties. I was in a class where everyone was studying hard to get into Japanese universities, and being in that environment made me feel more and more pressured. I started skipping school frequently, and there were weeks when I barely spoke to my family, and I fell into a deep depression. My homeroom teacher even told my mother that if things continue this way, I might not be able to graduate. Oh my God. And if I couldn't graduate from high school, of course, I wouldn't be able to go to university. Maybe it was just my own weakness, but looking back now, I realized that what I felt at that time, a spiritual force trying to stop me from going to Sunmin University, was actually a spiritual challenge I had to overcome. Then, my mother took me to Cheonpyeong, Korea, during the 2019 Special Great Works. It was only for 3 days, and after the Chanyeon session, they were handing out tickets at the Tree of Love Plaza here to pray in that time we called Testimonies special prayer room. And my mother and I ran and received the last 2 tickets. Wow. Yeah. And before entering the prayer room, there was a waiting room, where they explained how to pray. And at that time, I was going through such a difficult period, so I really expected something to change. In that waiting room, I prayed, "Heavenly Parent, please give me a clear sign that you are real. I'll pray like this so you can answer like this." Yes. And finally, I entered the prayer room and began to pray. As we cried out like "Abuji, Omoni," I suddenly forgot everything I had wanted to say. Instead, from deep within me, only one phrase kept coming out, again and again, louder and louder, with a lot of tears. "I want to live for Heavenly Parent and true parents." It was so powerful, it didn't even feel like my own voice. It was as if my original heart was crying out from within me. After that experience, I realized that living for Heavenly Parent and true parent is my desire. When I returned to Japan, my heart gradually became brighter, and I was able to graduate high school safely, fortunately. Yeah, thank you. And in March 2020, I entered Sunmin University's Korean Language Institute. There, I learned that the theology department had been recognized into UPA. At first, I hesitated because at that time, it was said that those who entered UPA couldn't receive the blessing for 7 years. And also, since UPA didn't allow a double major, it meant giving up studying international relations, which was hard for me. Faced with this choice, I began to reflect deeply on my vision and mission. I spent time reading True Mother's memoir, True Mother's newly published memoir, and praying. Until then, I had mostly been taught about True Father, so I had felt emotionally distant from True Mother that time. But as I read her memoir, I started to understand her heart in a way I never had before. I also recognized why I had been interested in UN or NGO work. I had always wanted to help create a world where no one suffers from poverty or hunger. But through learning about true parents, I saw that they had devoted their entire lives to an even greater vision to fulfill Heavenly Parents' dream of a world where all humanity can live happily as one family under God. I realized that my own dreams were aligned with the wishes of true parents and Heavenly Parent, and that I wanted to dedicate myself to this greater purpose as well. At 19, I also recognized how important family education had been in shaping who I am. I developed a vision to create something new within the Family Federation's family education field, something that could even be recognized and appreciated by society. With this clarified about my mission, I felt that UPA was the path I was meant to take. I made my decision with determination, passed the exams, and joined the theology department at UPA. If I could describe my UPA years in one sentence, I would say it was a period when I held tightly onto Heavenly Parent and true parents and grew more than ever before, and holding on to Heavenly Parent and true parents with all my heart. It was a period of tremendous growth and learning. After 4 years of study, I received my mission assignment at Cheonjeonggung last December. I waited for that day with the heart that this will be my eternal mission land. When I heard the name Sweden, I was surprised but truly happy. Since coming to Sweden, I've been so blessed to meet all of you. I'm deeply grateful to everyone who has kept this community alive with love and devotion. Actually, one night in Ireland, I had an interesting and special dream there. In the dream, our team was packaging pumpkin candies, True Father's favorite. And the candy True Mother always gives to Pure Water use, reminding True Father. And when we just packing pumpkin candies, True Mother suddenly came to us and began helping. Like, what can I do this, like this? Ask, and opening the bags and counting 10 pieces each. Then she said, suddenly, I need to go to Sweden too, but I have so much work to do. I'm always in my office, with sad face. I replied, even though we are far away, our hearts are always with you, True Mother. I don't know why I respond like this, but she smiled brightly, and I woke up. That dream made me feel True Mother's deep love for all of us, her longing to meet, to comfort, and to embrace her children around the world. I could feel her heart wanting to come to Sweden to speak to us and to encourage us personally. And at the same time, I realized we are the one she has sent to Sweden. As her missionaries, we carry her heart and her hope. So even though I'm not perfect, I want to serve this mission with pride, gratitude, and the determination to never forget the heart of Heavenly Parent and true parents who sent us here. Of course, witnessing is not so easy, and sometimes I feel discouraged. At times, I felt weak, wondering what can I really contribute in here? And seeing painful, critical content these days, like about our church and True Mother on social media, has made my heart ache. Sometimes I even felt foolish for believing so sincerely when the world seemed to look down on us. But whenever I come to the church, I gain strength again, because there are brothers and sisters who keep this community alive. And there are brothers and sisters here who pray together, serve heaven together, and lift each other up with love. Thanks to all of you, I can go out witnessing every day with renewed hope. Thank you truly. And I will do my very best. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.